Hey everyone, my name is Jason Abril, and we're at Douglas Southall Freeman High School. And this is my Advanced Placement Language and Composition class, and we are starting a project that is going to recap a motif that we've been looking at throughout the entire school year, and then also sort of review for the Advanced Placement Language and Composition exam FRQ1. And so this is one that hopefully braids sort of looking at this unit and also what we did a while ago with visual text analysis. And I call it the rhetoric of monuments and memories. And this is one, a monument that really stood out to me, and it should sort of capture what we talked about with the death and life of Dith Pran. This is a monument that's in Cambodia. It's actually in Siem Reap outside of Phnom Penh. And it's a small chapel in the outskirts of the city that is very slender and tall. And you can see in the building there's wall encased with glass. They put in the actual skeletons from the killing fields, which when you look rhetorically, it has a real emotional effect when you're walking into it. Kind of like the catacombs in Paris, I think really sort of emotionally captivating. So what you're gonna do with this small project is you're gonna be investigating and researching your own monuments from anywhere in the world. Things that stand out to me is the 9/11 monument. There is a monument on the moon that a lot of students looked at in the past called, I think it's a monument for a fallen soldier. It's a little metal stick figure that someone put on the moon. And so for you, when you're looking at these memorials, it could be something personal. It could be something just you find really interesting creatively. And so you're finding two of those. And just like this sample that a student did a few years ago, you're going to be not only sort of talking about the design of it and the intents from the designer, but also sort of analyzing it rhetorically. I'm going to take a few of you out in the hallway to discuss your major papers and give you notes and comments, not only on that paper, but also sort of suggestions for next year when you guys take AP Lit or honors. While I'm out there in the classroom, you guys can work on this project, be investigating your memorials, writing up your analyses, and feel free to sort of discuss and collaborate with someone next to you if you want to bounce ideas off each other, discuss your analysis, see if you're on the same page, or get some suggestions from each other. And you'll be doing that while I'm on the hallway. Hey Lila, I just wanted to take you out in the hallway to talk to you one-on-one about your major paper, to give you maybe some suggestions and see if you had any questions for next year. Okay. I loved your paper, like I said. One highlight is I loved your control of tone. Like tonally, I thought you did a great job. I thought though too, my one comment is in sort of your introduction. Mm-hmm. I would have loved for you to find some way to braid your narration together with that refutation that you set up later. I would have loved for you to connect that, but I thought it was a great essay, and maybe just also a little bit more on that refutation and echo that what you set up. I thought that would have been great. Okay. Not that you had to, it's a suggestion strategically.
So, like I had a paragraph refutation, you think I should also put that in the introduction paragraph?
No, just I was thinking like just echoing what you set up in the introduction and narration, just like kind of return to it. Okay. But I loved it. I thought you did. I think it's some of your best work, and I would actually save this as a sample in case you need it. Do you like if you wanted to, you could use it as a writing sample if you just kind of polish it. I think it would be a great sample. Are you taking AP Lit next year?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions on that?
I don't think so. I
just wanted to say that what we did with In Cold Blood last week, which was all about commentary. That's something I really want you to think about next year. It's literary analysis is all about commentary.
Yeah.
All right, great. So Navia, I just wanted to talk to you about your major paper and give you some thoughts and then see if you had any questions for next year. First of all, I wanted to talk about a highlight of your paper. I loved the readability of it, like the clarity of your writing. I thought it was just exceptional. There was just one little note in your claims and evidence that I thought you could elaborate it a little bit more on. And that's it, but I thought it was an exceptional paper. Do you have any questions for me for next year or?
Are we gonna do like personal essays?
Yeah. Yes. So my intent for the last paper that we write for this class is a draft of your personal essay. Okay. Hopefully, and then the ideas that you're working on it over the summer. I'm going to give you guys some like notes on maybe how to craft a personal essay, just suggestions, because personal essays there's a freedom of form that is not necessarily an academic essay. So I'm just going to give you some characteristics, things like having an epiphany or elements of self-reflection, stylistic experimentation and daring. So that's all we're going to do, and that's going to be the last thing we write for the class.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Are you taking AP Lit next year?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do you have any questions about that?
Not for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did want to say this. This is my one tip for AP Lit. Next year, it's all about commentary. So like what we did with In Cold Blood, where we talked about the
figurative language.
Yeah, the figurative language, the imagery, but we talked about the middle of town sort of dying and wasting away, and then we talked about the outside of town kind of coming to life, and there's that juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people are going to get that.
Okay.
But for next year, with literary analysis, you got to get that commentary that we talked about, where Capote is like intentionally using juxtaposition to build that suspense and tension to show the have and have-nots and develop that through the book. That's what you're going to be doing for AP Lit. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Hey, Aiden, so I wanted to start with the highlight. I loved your diction. I thought your word choice was really awesome, and it really added to the readability of it. There were a few little grammar mistakes with commas and capitalization, but that's just something to note, moving forward. I thought you could have, I think in your paper had something where you're talking about countries or other countries. I thought you could have
it
had
was
more.
like comparing I was trying to use like the article as like the kind of have like the keep the line of reasoning and kind of the structure throughout to kind of like keep going back to it to reference. But I don't think
I love that.
because it kind of got a little.
No, I thought that was great. My one little comment for that was just maybe you needed another piece of evidence to really sort of illustrate that point.
Another like statistical evidence or
That was up to you. Just another, generally the aphorism is you want two good pieces of evidence, maybe more, to really sort of prove your point. And I thought in that point it just needed a beat more evidence. But I really liked the paper. Did you have any questions for me?
Not particularly. It was my main worry was just because I did get kind of weaved around trying to keep echoing that same because it was the list of like all the qualities that made up like the good country or whatever.
Definition is what it's like. The rhetorical strategy is called definition or exemplification.
And I kept trying to like bring it in, but I just felt like I kept like saying the same thing over again or like saying the same like.
No, I didn't feel that way. I thought there was movement to it and it evolved. But are you taking AP Lit next year?
Yeah.
Or? Okay. I just wanted to highlight, just since you're taking that, it's literary analysis, right? And I wanted to, I've been telling students to think about your commentary. It's really important for literary analysis. And I wanted to use the example, one of the reasons we looked at the opening pages of In Cold Blood. Yeah. Do you remember that? A couple, like last week? When we talked about the center of town, the kind of wasting away and dying, and we talked about the outside of town, like kind of flourishing and coming to life. And then we talked, and this is an example of commentary, in-depth commentary, I think, is how Capote did that to juxtapose the have and have-nots and sort of set the stage for that tension that's going to erupt. That's what AP Lit is, that commentary, that in-depth commentary.
Yeah, because that's definitely the part that it's like, I know where I want my evidence, and I know like what I want to get out of my evidence, but it's like saying it correctly.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough.
All right, cool. Any other questions for me? All right, excellent. So wait, you guys, if you remember this, I introduced it to you guys last week. So I'm going to kind of do the wrap up. We're going to kind of work on it today. But the whole motivation behind this project is to not only practice for the AP FRQ1, the synthesis FRQ, but also sort of wrap up and sort of augment that motif that we've been talking about all school year about the function of memory in our lives. So I thought this would be a good way to sort of wrap it up. Looking at your monuments, we'll present them tomorrow. You'll be looking at the monuments that you selected, 2 of them. I wanted to show you a sample. I didn't get a chance to show to you last. Did I show you guys the samples? I don't think I did. But this is from a student a few years ago. And I'm gonna sort of read the sample to you aloud real quick. But this is a little different because I'm only asking you guys to do 2 monuments, but years before we did 5, and then we did a proposal. So I'm just gonna show you what it looks like, and then I'll tell you, maybe give you a little bit more suggestions. So this is what Sarah wrote, and this is what the statue looked like. It's called the Statue of Unity. I've never seen it before. But I'm going to read very quickly what she wrote. The Statue of Unity is the world's tallest statue at 597 feet without the base, commemorating Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who was an Indian independence activist, India's first Home Minister and chief adherent to Gandhi during his independence movement. Patel is best remembered in India for his work in uniting the 562 principalities of India's past into the single nation of the present. Patel's work in unity is seen not only in the statue's name, but its construction. Though the government of Gujarat funded the majority of the statue, fundraising drives such as the Run for Unity were held across the nation to involve the public in its financing. The statue is composed of iron, of which 109 tons came from donated farm equipment provided by farmers across the country to assist with the project. And here's her sort of commentary on it. The memorial itself is based off a statue of Patel designed by Ram V. Sutar, but enlarged and built with exaggerated proportions in order to keep the memorial stable. And this is what sort of we're looking at when we look at the visual components of it. The posture of Patel on the memorial is one of calm, quiet leadership. His head is back and his hands are open at his sides, reflecting a peaceful demeanor and willingness to work alongside others, traits which were vital in his endeavor to unify the states of India. Thus, not only the accomplishments of its subject, but the construction of the memorial and its appearance convey the unity that manages to keep together the incredible nation and billions of people of modern-day India. So, as we sort of look at your monuments that we're going to share with the class tomorrow, you're kind of looking at the rhetoric behind it. It's not just sort of the construction, which is also part of it. But questions that you ask yourself is like the 9/11 monument. Did we talk about that? Have you guys been there? So if you've been there, right, Allie? So when you walk in, you're looking at sort of not only the geographic space, which is at the actual location of where the towers fell. So that's an emotional, it's an intentional decision on the parts of the makers to affect you emotionally as you walk into that geographic space. But also the design elements like the black granite and the names, very reminiscent of the Vietnam Memorial too in Washington, D.C. So we'll just do the wrap up. And so, again, just to sort of wrap up, the project is a culmination of, I think, everything that we've been talking about this entire school year with sort of the motif of memory, the function of memory from E.B. White's Once More to the Lake to River Runs Through It to The Death and Life of Dith Pran, memorializing not only people, but individuals. All right, guys, you guys have any questions? All right, great. This is a wrap-up of the rhetoric of monuments and memories, a sort of recap of the motif we've been looking at all school year about the function of memory, and also preparation for the first FRQ for the AP Lang exam. Thanks for visiting our classroom.
Bye.